What's going on, YouTube? Thumbs Up Media here, doing our first gun review. So, let's jump right into it. I'm not even going to waste any time. The gun that we are reviewing today is the Canik tp9sf Elite. I had never heard of this gun. I had never heard of the company Canik, ever. I had never heard of the tp9sf line, the tp9 line at all, which there's a pretty good variation in there. What brought my attention to this gun is basically just I was down at the local gun shop and I saw it. It was in OD green and I thought, wow, that is a great looking gun. So I had her pull it out of the box for me and she, let me know what was going on. Shout out to Ponderosa. It's a gun shop up here. And yeah, so basically I took a look at it. It was in the case. It was in the showcase, in its case, and this is what I saw. So, it intrigued me, for one, that it came with a holster, and, I mean, that color is just, it's just a kick-ass color, so we'll get a little bit more in depth there in a minute. Basically, what I'm getting at here is this gun, from what I can understand, is this one is not new, but the TP9 line is fairly newer in the popular gun world. So, what I'm finding is that there's not a whole lot of, there's a lot of reviews, but not a whole lot of information on the gun. So, hopefully we can clear that up a little bit. Now, what we're going to look at on this gun, we'll start off with what comes in the package. So, they send you, the paperwork, you got your... One thing I do kind of like, this is a great gun for the beginner, really. It's a 9mm, it's a full size, so, if you're a larger guy but you're not really used to shooting guns or, whatever, it's a great gun to start with. I can tell you that for sure. It's easy to rack the slide for the females out there. I know not all females have that problem, so don't, attack me or whatever. I can rack a gun if I want. But all that I'm getting at is some people, usually females, have issues with racking slides. I know that the Springfield XD is one of the guns that have that problem, and they make guns modified for sale to less physically able folks, which makes sense. So it comes with a picture guide on how to disassemble the gun, and we'll do that later as well. We've got the Canik, website information, all their cool little doohickeys and stuff you can buy, add-ons and whatever. And then the rest is just kind of the basic. There's instructions for a gun lock as well. Now, we're going to talk about that gun lock right now. One of the accessories that comes with this gun is the gun lock. This thing is garbage. So if you look at it, this is the key. It looks kind of like what the janitors use to open the toilet paper dispensers, So this is the lock itself. See right there? It's all plastic. And you would think, okay, well, how's the locking mechanism? Well, let me show you. We're going to sit here. And you're going to bear with me while I and this is awful little tool too. While I unscrew this thing. So what holds it together is this, looks like some kind of stainless or whatever bolt with the funky head on it that fits the key. Now the lock itself, this is hilarious. I could easily disengage this lock with a pocket knife. I would assume if I really had to, I could probably rip it off with my hands. The threads that bolt threads into are plastic. You can see there's no metal insert in there. So it is 100% based on the tensile strength of some cheap plastic. Now, other than that, that is the only thing that I do not like that came out of this box. Other than that, you got your owner's manual there. It covers your TP9sf Elite, TP9sf Elite S, The Elite S is a little bit different than the Elite. It just, the difference is it has a trigger lock safety, so you can, it's part of the trigger guard. I'll explain that later. You've got your brush, you've got your cleaning rod, and actually, other handguns I've bought usually don't come with a rod, they just come with a brush, and you're kind of on your own for what you used to actually use for the rod. I do prefer a snake, but if you don't have the equipment, they do provide that. Another thing that they provide that I do like as well is they provide a holster. It is an outside the waistband, awkward, large, stands off your hip a half an inch, 3/4 of an inch, whatever, but I'm not really worried about it simply because they do provide it. It's free. It comes with the gun, and the gun is a kick-ass deal in and of itself. So, we'll get into said holster. Now first, because we are responsible gun owners, I'm going to remove the firearm, remove the magazine which is loaded, check the chamber. This firearm is now safe. I'm going to take the 2 magazines. It does come with 2 15-round magazines if you're not in some jacked up state that prevents that. Gun is safe. No ammunition. Alright, so back to the holster. So this holster, it looks like a Serpa style. It's even got the button. But what you'll notice is the mounting plate covers the button. And no, you cannot flip it over because this guy is not on this side. So, that's a little bit of a... I don't know. It's weird. I did contact Canik through social media, and they did explain to me that with the TP9sf and the TP9sf Elite, there is a difference in the holsters. The TP9sf is a standard Serpa style holster. The button is on the outside where it's supposed to be, ready to go. But the difference is that actually locks. Now this one is just a retention mechanism. It doesn't actually lock the handgun. So you can, without pressing any buttons, in and out, but it does lock the gun. So, moving on from the holster. Cool little add-on. It does come with an extra grip plate, which I have already changed out. This is the smaller one that does come on the gun. It comes with one larger size. And it also comes with whatever. It's the mag loader thing. Whatever. Pointless. It also comes with a chamber flag. I do kind of like that just because, I don't know, it's another thing. They just give you so much stuff. One thing I really like about this gun is, now, we all know the gun is empty, the gun's clear, alright? So, this is the Canik TP9sf Elite in OD green. Now, it does have a little bit of, patina. It is a little bit worn out. This gun is on my hip all day, every single day. I do not take this gun off of my hip. So, it's got the bronze Cerakoted slide, which I really like. I mean, the craftsmanship that goes into the slide is just, I love it. I love how it looks. It does not look like a brick. It looks unique. It stands out. It's got big, bold letters on the side, TP9sf Elite. It certainly doesn't, it's not your run-of-the-mill look. I like that. Now, another thing about the Elite is it's got some, it comes with Warren Tactical sights, which I like a lot. Let me see if I can line that up for you now. See if you can see on that white stripe of old glory back there. It has a fiber optic sight on the front, stock, right out of the box. I love that. Now what I really like as well is it also comes with replacements. So the sight that it comes with is like a red or orange, red, orange, whatever. But it also comes with replacements. It's got your green, and that looks like a pink, stands out real bright. I prefer the orange. I like the one that it came with, so I just leave that alone. But it is pretty cool that they do give you that. Again, another thing that they give you. They also give you a pin, or a punch. I guess you would call it a punch. I don't know. It's a roll pin remover, I guess. For when you replace the back strap, you got a pin in there, and they actually give you the correct size tool. That is not plastic; it is metal. They give you the correct size tool to drive out the pin real easily, so you don't need to buy anything to change the parts out, which I really like. Now, getting on to more with the gun itself. What I really, really like about this gun, the absolute most, and I'm sure if you're watching this video, you've probably already seen other reviews of this, and someone else has already talked about it, but the trigger. Oh my goodness. So I have messed with a few different handguns. I've messed with, I'm not like some crazy, like I don't have that many guns yet. I'm still working on that as far as handguns go, but I am getting very strong into it, loving the adventure as I go. But what I have noticed, so I've played with a Gen 4 Glock. I've played with a Gen 5 Glock 19. I've played with the Springfield XD40. I've played with a Springfield XD9. You know, and then there's revolvers, but we're not really getting into that because those are totally different as far as triggers go. What I have noticed is this trigger, hands down, is the nicest, smoothest, just best freaking trigger I have ever felt coming out of the box. I mean, this thing is incredible. So, what I really like is, one, it is still an AccuSafe style trigger, which is cool, but it's barely, like, you can't, one thing I don't like with Glocks is when you put your finger, now again, gun is safe, when you put your finger on the trigger, you can still feel that tab under your finger. It doesn't go flush with the trigger surface. Now with this, I mean, it's barely there in the damn first place. Look at that. Look at the side profile. It doesn't, it's like almost non-existent. You can almost not even see it with the flag. But it still works. You know, if you take your finger off of that and you pull, you are not pulling that trigger, but just a little bit over and perfect. So, what's really nice about this is, I'm going to try to demonstrate this for you. So, trigger's pulled, reset, now watch this. I mean, that was a pretty bad representation just because I'm holding it like, but it is incredibly crisp. I mean, this trigger is phenomenal. I have nothing to say bad about the trigger at all. One thing that I did notice is it comes apart pretty much exactly how a Glock does. You know, you disengage the trigger, pull back a little bit, you pull down on the tabs, push forward, but this one comes straight off. So it's not gonna, when you disengage the trigger, pull it back, and you push it forward, it's not gonna come off forward. It comes up. One thing I also like, it is an all-metal recoil spring assembly, and it comes with a match-grade barrel. So, I know one issue that people have with Glocks is they're not match-grade. I'm talking about Glocks a lot. This isn't necessarily a comparison video. It's not a competition video. I like Glocks. They're fun to shoot. It's a gun. But what I will say is that I do like that the barrel that comes with it is a match grade barrel. It is high quality steel. I mean, if you, just looking at it, the feed lip, everything is just, it's phenomenal. I'm not sure how well you can see that because I'm using my cell phone, but the feed lip on that is just, it's very well polished. Go ahead and put that back together. What else was I going to get into on this before I went shooting the thing? Other than that, it really is a very simple gun. It's got the pretty long ambidextrous slide release. So, you know, if you're left hand, right hand, whatever, you can release it from this side or this side. One thing I noticed, though, as long as the slide release is, because I'm one of those guys that has an issue with the slide not locking back on the final round because my thumb just sometimes rests on, it's poor discipline, but sometimes it rests on the slide release, doesn't allow it to engage. This one, however, while the slide release is longer, it is still a very, very low profile part of the gun. And I love that. And it's ambidextrous. So, it does have I don't consider this to be an ambidextrous mag release, simply because the magazine release coming out of the box is only functional for a right-handed shooter. However, you can very easily switch it. So it does allow you to switch it, but I'm not going to call it ambidextrous just because I can't hand this gun right now to a left-handed shooter and have them be able to release the magazine like they would normally. Other than that, I mean, the gun is it's a phenomenal gun. I've shot it probably, say, about 800 rounds through it so far since I got it, and it is fantastic. I personally have not had a single problem with it firing, but one thing that I will say about this gun, if you have a problem limp wrist shooting, you will hate shooting this gun. Why? Because anytime, now I found this out through a little bit of research, but when I first got the gun, my mom had just got her Glock, so we took out our 9mm and hey, let's go have fun at the range. Cool. So I hand her my gun, and she shoots it a few times, but every single shot, stovepiped. And I was like, what's going on? Is there something wrong with it? Whatever. Does it need to break in? This, that, yada, yada, yada. Well, now 800 to 1,000 rounds later, it still does the same thing whenever she shoots it. Why? I looked into it, found out it's limp wristing. So when you don't have a rigid enough, purchase on the gun, when you're just not, I don't know, the best way I can explain it is just you're just not that experienced, it's gonna have problems. That I wouldn't necessarily call that a downfall. That's more of just if you as a shooter can't maintain a rigid enough stance on the gun, then you're going to have a hard time with this gun. But it also is a place that will expose where you are weaker as a shooter and will expose where you need to improve, which is, I like that. I think it's great. It's like constructive criticism from an inanimate object. But other than that, it does have your standard Picatinny rail. It's got, I don't know, I'm not that knowledgeable when it comes to this kind of stuff, but it's got 3 notches. I know I've seen some guns that have 2. I don't know if that's much of a difference or if you can just fit a bigger light, whatever. Let's see here. It has a pretty decent, the texturing on this it's a small section, but it is a very rigid texture. And the back straps as well, very rigid dot texture. I guess you would call this more stippling. This is more just dots. It does have a spot right here that is also textured for grip. The opposite side is not textured. Well, it kind of is. It just is made in, Turkey, but whatever. So basically overall with the gun, fantastic gun. I'm extremely happy with it. I've had no problems myself with shooting the gun. Let's see here. Other than that, yeah, it's just a fantastic firearm. I'm very happy with it, and I will do a much more in-depth video. Well, not more in-depth on the gun specifically, but I'm going to do another video with the gun actually out at the range shooting it. Right now, I don't really want to drive for an hour to go pick up a box of ammo to make the video right now, because I just don't really have a reason to, so small town life. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. This is Thumbs Up Media coming at you with our first gun review. If you're here for the first time, which is probably all of you, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Leave a like, subscribe if you want to. If you don't, whatever. I honestly couldn't care less. So yeah. The Canik TP9sf Elite in OD green, ladies and gentlemen. And again, I will do more footage with shooting the gun, But so far, as what I can tell you with a simple bench review, this gun is fantastic. Fan-freaking-tastic. I love it. It's great to shoot. It's comfortable to shoot. It's quick. It's the sights are great. The trigger's great. The slide feels great. It's just, I have nothing bad to say about this gun. Not a single thing. I really cannot come up with something I don't like about this gun at all. Maybe as I become more experienced, I'll find more issues and little details here and there. But as for right now, love it. I carry it every single day, all day long, everywhere I go. It doesn't come off my hip. And it's comfortable. It's lightweight. It's extremely cost-friendly. I paid... What did I pay? I think I paid about after taxes and everything, I think it was like $415, $430 or something like that. So excellent price, excellent gun. They give you a plethora of stuff. I mean, 2 mags, a lock, that's shitty, but it's a lock, replacement sights, all the literature, your own free, decent holster, a mag loader, a flag, your cleaning equipment. The case is a nice case. Overall, this is a fantastic purchase. I highly recommend the gun. And again, thank you for stopping by. Leave a like and a subscription if you feel like it, but if not, that's cool with me. See you next time.